What up, y'all? I'm Steve with Elev8, and tonight we have Babedrienne here. Holy mackerels. This lady knocks it out of the park with the carving. It's amazing. Everything she touches, she puts it to Jupiter. It's amazing. One thing I want to throw out there is we're looking for some help. We're looking for some Elev8 dolls. If you're looking to help us out, be a brand ambassador, hit us up. Anyways, let's get into meeting Babedrienne. Welcome. We're with Babedrienne, and thanks a lot for joining us here at Elev8. How did you get started into? Because do you blow glass? I guess that's the question. Because you just take glass to the next level. But do you blow glass or do you just carve it?
Yeah, I do blow glass. I'm not so elegant at it as my peers, so I'm kind of not really showing that work currently. I'm practicing in private. But I mostly cold work. I started with metal smithing, so that's kind of how I fell into the cold working. It goes along with lapidary pretty well.
Yeah, how did you get into metal working and all that? I feel it's kind of a rare thing you hear about.
I guess my dad and like every guy in my family were car guys, so I grew up like working on cars or having projects like everywhere, and you're like kind of raw metal on a lot of those cars. So I kind of just learned about like steel metal when I was young. And then I kind of fell into non-ferrous metal in undergrad and anything to do with fire, really. So all the fire ones kind of caught my heart.
All right. So that's kind of how maybe glass works well for you as well then, huh?
Yeah, definitely the fire.
So that you've worked a lot with metal and stuff, how does that compare with the glass that you're working now? Like just completely different? Do you like it?
I like it. Yeah, metal is so uptight and technique based, and glass is too, but it's just so much more fluid. I mean, it's just fluid. There's not really too many other ways to say it. So yeah, there's a learning curve to that.
Yeah. Well, what kind of metal stuff did you do before? I know it's not talking about glass, but what did you actually do in?
So I went to school for metalsmithing primarily, and glass blowing was my minor. I did a lot of jewelry, and I mean, currently I include a lot of metalsmithing in pieces like the carousel. That was like a working carousel that had a lot of like mechanics in there, some gears and stuff. So,
and did you get to place the gears and create all that to make it to work then as well?
Yeah, I made the mistake of making all the gears from scratch or making them from molds of actual gears, and I will never do that again. That's just like something that I guess I would have milled. I just tried to hand make those, and that's not a hand build project. That's like math has to happen.
But you did it though.
Yeah, it was hard. Probably took 10 years off my life.
Yeah, could you imagine those watchmakers just filling with little metal
I don't know
gears?
how they did it originally.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So do you have a mentor where you got into this? How did you transition from the metal into the glass, I guess?
When I was an undergrad, I took a lot of weird internships, and one of them was in a glass studio in Manchester, Vermont, Manchester Hot Glass. And Andrew was the guy there. He kind of threw us into it, me and I think two other people that were there part-time, but we were pulling like perfume bottle droppers for a while because that's pretty easy. You just have to like learn the temperature of the glass and let it drop, and you kind of learn starting there. And then when I went back to school, I just took more electives. So I just took more glass classes. And I met Chad while I was in undergrad, and we just kind of worked together. And a lot of my friends that were in glass, we kind of all collaborated. Collaboration is an excellent way to learn.
Yeah, yeah. And then the metal and the glass go together really, really well.
Yeah.
Do you do the electroforming stuff too, or do you mostly like carve into it?
I have electroform, but I don't currently have a bath set up. So I haven't done that in years.
Yeah.
That would be sweet to do, but I think that's more Ryan Fitz territory. I don't want to step on any toes.
Yeah. Do you how do you get the I don't know, even know, like the grawling effect and all that, the way you grawl into it? It must be, you have to collab with the blower as well. So you're working with Chad.
Yes.
And then so you know how, because they're all layers of color, and then to get in there, and it's crazy how you get the shadowing in there.
Thanks. I could actually show you an in-progress piece that I have.
Yeah.
You take a lot of planning. You have to think about all the seams where pieces connect because of the layering that I do for my prep. It's like layers of powders of color. So you want to think about where everything connects, because you can't repeal all that color at the connection. Otherwise you'll pull the pieces apart. So you have to like hide those connection points. Let me grab it.
Yeah, please.
So this is one that I'm working on with Ghost, and it's partially through, and you can't even really see the color quite yet. It's a pretty ghosty color too, pardon the pun, but I think it's ether and then black and then white. So it'll be very ghostly in color. But the connection points, I just won't carve into generally. That's kind of a rule. You know, you might have bubbles in there, but you also would, it's not a very pretty place to carve away. So I'll just carve away into everywhere where there's not a connection. But I also draw on the piece a bajillion times before I cut it. That might be a lot of where the time is, because I think so much about it. It's like a measure twice, cut once kind of situation.
Yeah.
Every time I jump ahead without like overthinking it, I regret it. So this one, I just kind of carved in everything that I had drawn, and I'm thinking about what to put in this like belly space. So he's kind of sitting, you can kind of see the hip bone and the leg coming down, and his feet are just barely cut in. I kind of do a light carve sometimes if I'm like most of the way confident, but I don't know what's around it, if it'll go under. I don't want to clear that area. So I was kind of thinking meta on this one, like an alien inside an alien inside an alien, like a little Russian nesting doll. Not sure if I'll do that, but that's my thought process in carving these.
Wow, that's so crazy. So lots and lots of planning goes into them.
A lot of overthinking.
Well, I don't know if it's overthinking, because like you said, if you don't think about it enough, then you're like, well, God damn it. So
exactly, that's the moment.
You know, so that's really neat. Where do you get the inspiration for your creativity in the glass?
Well, currently I am mega inspired by anatomy. Obviously, almost all my pieces are skeletal. I do dabble in some other organs, like the heart is obviously an iconic organ to pick out. But I guess I grew up with a lot of medical things. My whole back is fused, so I just kind of grew up with x-rays constantly. And even now I'm like dealing with rheumatoid arthritis. So I guess in dealing with medical stuff, yeah, I just like bones.
Yeah,
it's really creepy. It's like something that you have that you never actually get to see unless there's something wrong. So,
yeah, like I always
really
see skulls and everything, you know, I'm like, oh, is it evil? Is it not? But it's just natural, and
it's you, man. It's ultimate selfie.
I like that. Yeah, that's pretty neat. So when you're doing the bones and the different skeletal things, do you go out there and, like, if you got to do a horse, do you start looking at all the horse stuff and like? Yep. So you
go to museums, look at the actual skeletons. I'll buy all the books. I have a Grey's Anatomy that's like right next to my carving bench. It's all wet from carving. But I refer to actual anatomy all the time. I mean, obviously aliens don't have, like, you know, the little bat wing bones, but I'll make up a lot of it too. But it starts with what it actually is, and then I'll take my artistic license and run.
Yeah, it's just, your work is just crazy. And I've not seen anything out there like it. It's beautiful. Keep it up.
Thanks, man.
Do you have a preferred style or technique? And a lot of these questions I kind of geared towards glassblower. So I'm trying to, because you are, but you're just a glass
mostly
creator.
Cold working, yeah. So favorite technique, was that the question?
Yeah, do you have a certain style or technique? Like, are you using a Dremel to get the stuff that you use? Are you just sandblasting it?
No, definitely the Dremel is the way to go. Yeah, and the diamond burrs, I don't really know if there's too much else to it. The sandblasting will happen occasionally if I want to even out texture, because all my burrs are random grits. I don't actually even label them very well. I just kind of know that once I use them a lot, they go down in grit. So I'll have like old burrs that are like smoother, and I'll get it to a certain point, and then I might sandblast to smooth out the texture if it looks wrong. But Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have a favorite technique in hot glass yet. Actually, I feel like I'm still relearning everything.
But for doing the cold work, you're definitely going to go with the Dremel and
definitely the rotary tool. I use a 1/4 horsepower Fordham right now. I might be trying some different tools in the future. As people ask me what to use, I'm like, well, I use this, but I don't really know why I do. I started there with lapidary, so rock rolls is kind of parallel to glass rolls. They're like a similar hardness.
yeah,
So.
yeah, that's really neat. Have you had periods in your career where you shifted focus from, I guess, doing the grawling or and grawling's not the right word because it's not grawling, it's just carving then.
Yeah, cold working, carving. I think raw is when you carve into a thing and then pick it up hot and then work it hot again. And because cold working is the last step, I don't know that it would be that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think it's cold working. I forgot your question. I'm sorry.
I guess, do you have any periods in your career where you were focused on the carving and the cold working and then you switched over to something else, or you've mostly
I think I'm currently in that, actually. I think I actually put a pause on all my custom orders. I'm on like the last one right now, and I'm going to be almost fully kind of in, the torch world. I've been wanting to so bad for a while, and medical things have kind of put me more and more behind in my orders. And now I'm like, all right, cut off. I'm just gonna try to make that switch now. So I'm in there. I'm making the leap.
So do you, with the leap on there, do you find that you like the liquidity of the glass and the heat over it compared to doing the fine detail, or what is drawing you away from that?
I just want to do both. There's not a preference over either. I love both equally. I've just learned that, like, medically, I have to split my day up between tasks, and carving all day is just abusive to my arms.
Yeah.
Glass is a different kind of pain, but I think that I just need to do half days. I
balance it
both.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm really excited to see what you start coming up with glass and carving your own stuff, and it's just 100% Babedrienne Glass coming. So.
Me too, man.
And then how long have you been working with glass, like not just soft or cold work glass, but how long have you been doing hot glass and glass blowing now?
I think the first time I touched glass was in the hot shop, and it must have been 2008, I want to say. Yeah, so it's been a while.
All right. And then
but I haven't actually been in the hot shop in a few years either. So there's been a lot of juggling where I started in hot shop and then did that for quite a few years. And then I went to metalsmithing as my primary thing for a long time. And then it was cold working. And now I'm jumping back on the torch.
Yeah, you're all over.
Yeah.
So usually I ask, what's your favorite items to blow? I guess I would also ask that. What, like now that you're doing, hot glass, what do you really want to blow? Is it pendants? Is it pipes? Is it rigs? Or
I might plead the fifth on that one. I don't want to reveal what I'm working on until I get it figured out, and then I'll do a reveal. Sorry.
No, that's great. I love it. So what, if when you're working with colors, what's your favorite color to work with?
Oh, pastel potion all the way. It's so beautiful as an end product as well as working with. I just love it. It's so luscious.
All right. And that's for carving as well, or mostly just
carving?
hot work?
No, carving I like powders, right? And white is just such a beautiful bone color and a crisp contrast. I usually use darker colors underneath it, so it pops. I try to get thick layer of white and then maybe black and then another translucent under that. So I don't really have a favorite, but I guess for carving, I just want to have a rule as like white on top.
All right. Yeah. Get that bone and the real contrast.
It's an awful color to work with. I hate working with it, but the end product's great.
Why do you think that is? Is it, as a worker, I find that white just seems to be just air bubbles somehow.
And when it's a powder, it's like 100 times worse. I feel so bad working with people. They're like, oh, what color do you want? I'm like, well, I like white on top. And you can see everyone cringe. They're like, no, I don't want to. Don't make me do it.
Oh, because, it's a powder. It wants to boil really easily. It's small.
Like immediately. Yeah.
So you make them work for you. I like it.
Sorry. Sorry to everyone I've ever worked with. But yeah, the carving too is great because I can kind of hide the if there's any boils, I can usually work around it and try to carve it away, just plain carve it off. So there's a little bit of forgiveness there.
Yeah, so you've learned how to make it work with what it just is what it is.
It is what it is. Yep.
So what color would you not like to work with?
Man, any of those greens really suck. I've really wanted to like get a green on the inside of a carved piece, but they just, I mean, all those chromium greens just want to die when they're under all that color.
Yeah, I seen you just did one with Chad, and it's got some slime underneath it. Do you find that green works well?
I want to have green work on the inside, but we've had so many pieces die because the green that was in the inside, I don't even remember what colors they were. They're on my no more list, but
pretty much everything.
The question was what color I don't like, right?
Yeah, and it's green.
Yeah,
so,
it's usually the chromium greens. Yeah,
they're so beautiful. It's just
they are. Yeah, they don't like to live, not inside the carve prep at least.
Yeah. What's the most difficult piece that you have ever attempted?
Oh, there's like top three toughies. Carving wise, it might have been that ghost piece. It's just so scary. I'm sorry, the Kraken with Wicked. But there's also a second one where it's a Wicked and Ghost Kraken. Both of those were really scary. All those tentacles, when they're like, out there like that and you have to carve them, they just vibrate even when you're trying to go really slow and gentle. The glass just sings and it feels really wrong. It feels like it's going to just explode in a million pieces. So those were just scary, go really slow pieces that were just really difficult to carve.
You don't really think about that the whole piece is absorbing that constant vibration. And if there's any flaw, and every blower tries their best, but you don't know what's hidden, and that's just going to make everything show if there's a flaw, I bet. So
yeah, luckily they were all fine, but just the noise that it makes, the singing that it does, has put me on anxiety road the entire time carving. They took like a month a piece, so that was a long time to be anxious.
It's like Scalafrea, I bet. Just
yes,
Scalafrea is like the sound of the chalkboard, and just
man, that's a juicy word. I didn't know there was a name for that. That's awesome.
It was. We work with a lot of bands, and a band was called Scalafrea, and I got to actually use the word because of life's crazy.
I'm gonna try to use it now. That's great.
So, what's the most difficult piece? So I guess that's what's challenging is the vibration. But what about like the small detail on the small parts and getting into crevices? Is that really challenging?
Yeah, because you can only really get in a certain angle, and some of those burrs only cut in a certain angle. So those kind of situations are just a slow game. I use my tinier burrs and just try to be patient. But, the smaller the burr, the longer it takes to even carve through that. So it's just another ball of anxiety move. But so when I work with people, I also try to say, like, give me a little extra between extremities. So like if it has an arm, like maybe lift the arm up a little bit.
Yeah. How, on average, how long do you put into a piece? We'll say like the last ghost piece you did. How many hours do you think you put into something like that? And that includes thinking about it, drawing, redrawing, because that's the reality.
I think that one, the last ghost piece, was like a week solid, maybe like a week and a day. I kind of stopped clocking my hours because it was making me really sad. But it's generally about a week. Something about that size might be a week.
And that's working full days too, doing that stuff.
Yes, sort of. I do change my day up a little bit to just for moving certain muscles. I might like jump on the torch, make something solid really quick, but that's most of the day. Yeah.
Right. Wow. That's mind boggling. So
part of the reason why I want to jump on the torch, you can make a thing in a day or two, and that's still considered a long time to make a thing sometimes, but it's just, I want to have the gratification of finishing something sometimes.
Yeah, I don't think I realized how long that took to, you look at it and you say, it takes a long time, but I just didn't realize, how long that takes.
A real labor of love. Blood,
No
sweat,
doubt.
tears, a lot of tears.
Yeah, my
I think I might be
appreciation is
slow
great.
compared to other cold workers, but it might just be my bones at the moment. But
Sometimes I hear I'm slow even in the glass blowers, and I always look at the quality that comes out from the slow glass blowers. So, like you can rush and get it done and you have a B quality piece, and then you have stuff like
I like that perspective.
So, um, so I guess, do you collaborate often is something I ask a lot, but it seems like you are constantly collaborating.
Mostly collaborations, yeah.
Yeah, that's so how does that come up? Do you mostly reach out to artists, or do you have a barrage of artists hitting you up, just dreaming to work with you?
It's a mixed bag. I mean, before COVID, we were traveling like probably a week out of every month. And Chad might have more events and stuff than me. So he might do like 3 or 4 collaborations with an artist. I might get like 1 in, and then I might not be able to work on it for a little while after. I feel really bad. My schedule's been so messy for a while. Part of what I'm looking forward to in this, like taking a pause on custom orders, is also carving through my backlog of badass collabs I've just had sitting that I've been thinking about, but not really getting a chance to carve into. So
yeah, and I bet that pressure just weighs on you, and it's not
I feel
enjoyable.
so bad. No one's ever mean about it, but I feel bad. I feel bad that things sit sometimes.
Right.
I'm just lucky that everyone we work with is super chill.
Well, I think they're blessed to get to work with you. I mean, your stuff is like,
that's nice of you to say.
it's just reality. So even if they make like Ghost, his stuff is A+ quality, but like you just put it to the moon. So
what? Thanks.
That's what I believe. Do you consume yourself cannabis?
Yes. I just got my medical card, so I'm learning more about it. Like I mentioned, I just got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis in the beginning of COVID, so I've been trying to deal with all of that. And some of the medication is real harsh. Like one of the things was legitimately a chemo drug. So like, nausea and all these other things. And medical marijuana has been really great to deal with that. I just kind of always used it as like a, mind brightener kind of thing. I had no idea that it could actually take care of nausea or putting me right to sleep or any of the other things. So I'm feeling really dumb. I haven't come across that earlier, but I'm happy to have found it now. So I'm happy to learn more about it.
You're not dumb. It's I'm going to say something, whether it's our government or somebody holding us back. Like this shit's been around for 2003 for millions of years. And
yeah.
I mean, it was legal till the 60s, and then it's illegal. And then it's just like these people
so crazy.
Are leaders.
And I don't like breaking rules. So that definitely matters to me. Now that it's like legal to me, I'm like, all right, I'm going to learn all about it. Fully dive in.
Do you prefer flower? Do you prefer concentrates, or do you just either or?
I prefer flower, but I know that I shouldn't smoke everything. It's bad for your lungs. So I'm trying to just try all the things. I've tried some edibles. I have tinctures that work for me that I really like, but I enjoy flower. Like I just truly enjoy smoking flower.
I agree with you. Do you own any pieces that you use regularly? A pipe or a Sherlock or something like that?
Yeah, actually, I have a Jeff Heath that I really love, but I put it away for a while. I just cleaned it and then put it away. I figured my studio is in Glass Vegas prep mode and it's a wreck. So I put away all my nice glass that I use. Now I'm on joints for a while, but we also have some Zach Puckowitz pieces that we really love. They're Chad's, but we've both used them. There's a dry piece that's a really neat form and has his decals on it. Love his work overall. I'm so happy to have any of his.
Yeah, I'm only an onlooker whenever it comes to it. I've never been fortunate to get it, but it's out of this world.
And then all the pieces that we have that we use that we've made are all the ones that maybe have cracked irreparably that are still usable, but we'd never sell it. So our house rigs are the sort of dyed ones.
Your typical blower then, So
Yeah.
you got to get your money, and people don't want to buy crack stuff. Or you feel more bad, I think, giving somebody something cracked. And
Yeah, I wouldn't even give it as a gift. I just don't want that out in the world.
Yep. Well, what can we look forward to in the future from you? I know you were talking about you're making your own fire/cold work pieces coming out. So
Yeah, I'm actually hoping to have some rigs and some dry pieces that are just me, maybe not even carved. I'm just trying to get some forms down and get the function like totally right before I release it. But yeah, blown work for me. That's probably next that is new.
will we be
And
able
then
to
all the collaborations.
will we be able to see any of this at Glass Vegas by chance?
Man, I'm really hoping to get it together in time, but that seems like a tall order at this moment. It's creeping up so fast.
Yeah.
That was my goal, but I'm a little nervous now that I won't be able to reach it.
All right. Well, hopefully you get there, and if you don't, next time. That's the thing. Do you find you still have the same love and passion for glass as when you first started?
Yes. Yeah. It's even more so. I think, there's that initial attraction to the material, just because of the fire of it. And then when you see it move, it's like magic when it's hot. And then now I kind of feel like I know a lot more, but there's so many mysteries still that I haven't figured out or techniques I haven't gotten down. And I still have a fire that I want to learn more. Yeah, it's got me hard. I'm going to be doing this probably to the day I die.
Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. What do you got? Want to give any shout outs to anybody or anything else?
Oh, it's like at the end of the MMA fights where you're like, I want to fight you next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't prepared for that one. I definitely, if I was going to say who I might want a collaboration with, if I could just put that out there in the world, Buck, I'm looking at you.
Nice.
Bone on bone. Let's do it.
Hopefully it happens. I like it. Well, all right, Babedrienne. And where do we go to follow you? What are great places to check you out and see what's happening?
Well, I have my website, adriendesalvo.com, and then my Instagram is probably where I'm the most present. That's Babedrienne. Yeah, I'll be at Glass Vegas. It's probably the only event I have for the foreseeable future. So,
all right. Well, hopefully I'll be there. So hopefully I get to meet you in person. And I'm really excited about this, and I really appreciate the time today.
Thanks for having me, guys. This is great.
It's an honor and a pleasure, and it's awesome.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, y'all. That was amazing. Super down to earth. She's amazing. I can't wait to see what she's coming out with. I like that she's keeping it secret. It's going to be fire. I want to throw it out there. We got this really cool thing called Elev8 Veterans. It's our 501c3. It's really awesome. We got some cool glass, and if you do purchase it, all the funds go 100% to Elev8 Veterans. And it's all been donated by glass blowers. Check it out. Also, if you want to help us out, check out Elev8 Dolls. It's our brand ambassador program. It's really, really cool. And more than just a brand ambassador program where you make a little bit of money, it's really about putting a smile on another woman's face or even another man's face. It doesn't really matter. People are people. Anyways, Elev8, mind, body, spirit.